I'm here to tell you guys not to give up all hope. Never give up all hope. Why? Because an argument I've made time and time again on this show is that even though the electoral outlook for the left doesn't look great, and it hasn't been great my entire lifetime, when you ask people questions issue for issue, you'd be surprised at how many people agree with you, even ones who you might think, oh, this person will never agree with me on this. Sure about that? You sure about that? This is a great example of it right here. Look at this. This is a poll, just came out on raising the minimum wage. This is from Data for Progress. It's May 5th to May 6th. By the way, May 6th. Beautiful day, our wedding day. It's very appropriate that this was done on our wedding day and the results are like this. Here we go. Listen to this. 3/4 of Americans support raising the minimum wage to $20 an hour. Even 60% of Republicans support the notion. Wow. So let me just explain how they broke this down a little bit. So they had multiple categories. They have, do you strongly support it? Do you somewhat support it? Do you not know? Do you somewhat oppose it? Do you strongly oppose it? And then the way it works is it's considered you support it if you either strongly or somewhat support it. Okay? So it's a nuanced poll, but I think the results are still very, very clear. So when you go through it, what do we have? They asked them first about a $12 minimum wage. They asked all likely voters. This is like just Americans in general, right? 85% of the country would support a $12 minimum wage. 85%. I mean, you're touching numbers there that almost nothing garners that much support, except like universal background checks and ending corruption. 85%. When they asked about a $17 minimum wage, ticks down a bit, but it's still colossal. 76% support $17 minimum wage. When you ask about a $20 minimum wage, guys, it's still a gargantuan number. 74% of all likely voters support a $20 minimum wage. 74%. So when you go to Democrats, it's even higher. 95% of Democrats support a $12 minimum wage. 94% support a $17 minimum wage. 89% support a $20 minimum wage. When you go to independents, the outlook is still incredible. 77% support a $12 minimum wage. 74% support a $17 minimum wage. And 74% support a $20 minimum wage. Guys, $20 minimum wage, 74% of independents support that. But here we go to Republicans. This is glorious. 82% of Republicans support a $12 minimum wage. 60% of Republicans support a $17 minimum wage. And even 60% of Republicans support a $20 minimum wage. Wow. Economic populism is a guaranteed winner, which, by the way, reality bears this out. In the 2020 election, Donald Trump won the state of Florida. At the same time, a direct ballot initiative to raise the minimum wage in Florida passed with 60% of the vote. This is how you win. And so now, look, it's amazing to say it, but it's true. For the longest time, it's been fight for 15, fight for 15, fight for 15. Now your normie voter, your average American, has gone above and beyond that, free of their own volition. That's quite something. And by the way, it shows people know about inflation. They know that the more time goes by, the more you're going to have to raise that number up. Now, look, my take on the minimum wage is a little different from almost anybody else. What my ideal system would be is you set a living wage and you do it either by voting district or by county. Because the fact of the matter is, you know, in rural Wyoming, honestly, you probably could live on like $13 an hour and that would be a living wage. But in New York City, you'd probably have to have like a $24 an hour minimum wage in order to live, or maybe 28 or whatever it is. So you can adjust it, not even necessarily by state, but by voting district or by county, and you do a living wage across the entire country. And that's a way to try to fight against any unintended consequences of an across-the-board minimum wage hike of one raw number. Because let's keep it real, $20 in rural Wyoming is a lot different than $20 in LA, right? And so I would take that approach, but fundamentally it's the same idea. It's like a living wage everywhere type law. But the American people are clear. They support higher wages for workers at the bottom without a doubt. It's not even close. And again, this is something Democrats not only should run on, but this is why Biden absolutely should have fought for that $15 minimum wage. Back when we were having the discussion around Build Back Better and the IRA and all the other legislation, he basically, laid in a chalk outline of himself for Kyrsten Sinema and for Joe Manchin to run a roughshod over him. And by the way, some others too. There was some others like Chris Coons or whoever was against it as well. There's like 6 or 7, maybe 8 Democrats in the Senate, corporate Democrats, who were against it. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. You got to fight. And you got to call out the enemies who are against this, who are sold out to corporations, and you got to be on the right side. And this will definitely garner support. And look, hopefully you get ballot initiatives everywhere and they can raise their own minimum wages because the people will vote the right way, which is another reason why I support a direct ballot initiative law at a federal level. I think we should do that because people will, without a doubt, vote way better than politicians because politicians are corrupted and the people are not. But phenomenal poll, amazing poll, and you can really see just how potent a force economic populism is and how people who you wouldn't even realize, you wouldn't even think in a million years that this person agrees with me on this. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.